you control your mind when everything about your body is screaming pain and telling you to stop?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a skill set that you learn. But I it's, people say, 100 days. That's hard to wrap your mind around. And so it's a full distance triathlon or an Ironman is 140.6 miles or 220 kilometers. So we covered that distance every single day for a quarter of a year. So when you phrase it that way, it's a little bit different than 100 days, because you're like, oh, 100 days, it's hard to, like, we work in months, we work in years. So 100 days is like, how long is 100 days? It's a quarter of a year, 24 hours a day, no days off, of that type of thing. And so you again, how do you become more mentally tough? You do it through activity, which gains you experience. And so the reason I'm able to do something like the Conquer 100, I didn't go from 0 to 100. I didn't get up off the couch and I saw somebody do a motivational speech and get inspired and go, you know what? I was told to shoot for the moon. I'm inspired. I'm going to go do 105. I'm going to do 105 full distance Ironmans. I guarantee you that person's going to fail because they don't respect the process and the journey to get to where they're trying to go. Right. So you can't go from 0 to 100. You have to have big goals, but you have to take the appropriate steps in order to achieve that goal to where you're successful doing it. Had I not done the previous 10 years of gaining knowledge and experience on how to suffer, how to use my mind as a tool, I would have also failed just saying, okay, I'm going to go from 0 to 100. It's just unrealistic. And I wouldn't have had the experience and knowledge I needed in order for us to be successful. And if I'm being completely honest, the Conquer 100 project got put together so quickly because the pandemic happened, the world shut down, my calendar got wiped clean. I had an opportunity and a lot of free time to reset my past and do something even bigger and wilder than we'd ever done in our entire career. And so I only had a 4-month training block that led to doing the Conquer 100. And I was heavily, heavily relying on my mindset and my past experience. So early on the 100, we started to face injuries. And now the 100 project really became, how do we manage pain? How do we overcome these injuries? How do we make good on what we said we were going to do and do 100 consecutive of these? And so it just became this intense project of problem solving, injury management, pain management, and just keeping me going at a high level of execution.
That's right, because there was a 6-year gap, right, between the 50 and then
yeah. And over those 6 years, I was swept into coaching and speaking. And I mentioned before, I've spoken in 48 different countries around the world. I've been on hundreds of stages. I mean, on Monday, I'm speaking to the Cincinnati Bengals in the NFL. I mean, it's just totally wild and totally crazy. And so, yeah, you don't do anything or minimally just to keep yourself from being completely out of shape for 6 years. I mean, anybody that's done anything physical or fitness, it takes a massive amount to get to where you can be physical and perform, and you lose it so quick. And it's so frustrating how fast you can lose fitness. Well, 6 years of fitness loss, to where all of our other campaigns were stacked on top of each other. So we were spring vaulting knowledge and experience into the next big feat. You take 6 years off and then you go, okay, I'm going to double what everybody said was impossible. And I'm going to shorten the time frame. I'm out of shape and I'm going to shorten the time frame to a 4-month training camp to get ready for a over 3 months campaign. That is just like a recipe for disaster, but it also showcases how intense and powerful your mind is when you have the experience and knowledge to apply to it. And I relied heavily on my past experience and knowledge. And that's ultimately what got us through. How much experience our team had and how much experience I had doing this type of thing. And so it was brutal and it was real. But the reason we were able to be successful is because my team has been with me for a decade. We know each other really, really well, my wife and the 2 wingmen. And we just refuse to settle for mediocrity. And when we set out a goal, we do what it takes to achieve it. And the goal was 100. And so no matter what, we were showing up and we were going to figure out how to continue to keep moving.
Absolute excellence. Yeah. So last week we caught up with your wife, which was a beautiful, amazing conversation, and she definitely shared a perspective on all of it, right? How to deal with family life, your relationship, your marriage, how to make it work when you go after and go all in on a mission like this. Be great to get your perspective on how, like, as a guy with a wife and a family, how do you not only approach that conversation, but also so that you balance, or not, if maybe you don't balance, but how do you approach it in the relationship so that you know that your family is thriving, so that everyone is all in on the same page as you? Because I know there'll be guys listening that have big dreams. Maybe they want to start a business, or they've got a business. Maybe they want to take their life not only to the next level, but I know that you are all about setting huge goals, monumental goals. So I think your perspective on this would be amazing.
Yeah, it's interesting because I believe, not by choice, a lot of the risk was removed from me to do what I was going to do. And so I'm going to give different advice than the way that I did it because of my circumstances. And I'll explain what that means.
Okay.
So I used to own a mortgage company. And in 2008, the economy crashed and we ended up losing everything. And so we were at rock bottom, and we were like, okay, the world is our oyster. What do we want to do? What's our passion? What's our dream? How do we want to impact people? What type of legacy do we want to leave? And so
in the rock bottom moment, that's where you think, okay, cool, we're at rock bottom, therefore up is the only way.
Therefore, I've got a completely clean slate in front of me. What picture, what image do I want to paint? And here's the flip side of that. Okay, right? So now you've got someone right now who is in a career maybe that they don't like. They feel they're at a dead end, but it's putting food on the table, but they're not living their dream, right? And so that person has a different choice to make than I did, because I was at rock bottom, and the choice was like, what do I want to create for myself? Like, it's wide open. And then I was just doing like weird, random, odd end jobs just to put food on the table. Like, I was doing training and traveling and racing in the day to build up our brand and our coaching. But in the middle of the night, I was on a construction site on new homes, and I was hanging kitchen cabinets to put food on the table. Like, I was doing everything I could. Now,
it feels scary though, right? You've got a family, you've lost your mortgage broker.
For sure. And that's where the really big conversation happens with your wife and says, okay, these are the risks. This is the path we want to take. I can go back to school for 4 years and try to take on a new career, or we can do this for the next 4 years. We're still going to be broke. We're still going to have to make massive sacrifices. The upswing of this path is much greater than the fixed income on this path over here. Are you willing to take those risks? Do you want to go down that road with me? Let's do it. And my wife and I both said, we want unlimited potential. We're going to roll the dice that this is going to work, and we're going to just go all in on doing that. So someone today who has a job, my number one rule is don't quit your day job. You have to put food on the table for your family. You have to provide a roof over their head. I've got 5 kids, and I've got Sonny's parents that live with us. I'm responsible for 9 people, right? So let's just say I don't lose everything in the economy. I'm in a position right now where I'm responsible for 9 people, but I'm not living my best life, and I want something better, right? My advice to that person is like, look, you're going to have to like cancel your Netflix subscription. You're going to have to maybe not go on that golf trip this weekend, because rule number 1 is keep your day job and provide for the people in your life that you care about, that are relying on you, and you work your ass off in the midnight hours, in the early morning, in late night, put your kids to bed, and now go to work on your dream, right? You have a responsibility as a provider to provide for your family. Do not quit your day job. You chase those dreams. And the moment that your dream starts replacing your daily income, now you can quit your job. But not until then, because I promise you, it's going to take you 10 times longer than you think it's going to, and you're going to need the bankroll to chase your dream. So if you cut off your what you need to live, you're also cutting off your investment supply chain to funding your dream. It is super, super critical. And you hear all types of different advice. Hey man, burn the bridges, burn the boats. Yeah. And that way you're going to be super motivated to do what you do over here. Well, dude, I'm motivated either way because I hate my day job, and that's enough motivation for me. But I'm also smart enough to know that that day job is putting food in my kids' mouths. And I don't know really how long this is going to take over here. I'm going to go all in because I'm committed and I don't like what I have here. But I'm not going to quit this right now because I know I can make sacrifices. Here's the thing. Listen, people know what they want. I want that dream. I want that lifestyle. I want that freedom. What are you willing to sacrifice? Most people are all in on what they want. And then if you reverse engineer and say, oh, look, this is what it's going to take to get there. They're like, oh, I'm all out. You know what? I think I like my crappy job. I like the comfort of it. I like the insurance policy. You know, I like all of that. So that's the thing is like rule number one, don't quit your day job. Rule number two, reverse engineer it so that it's manageable and you can start attacking it. Because it's going to take time. It's going to take energy and effort, but you have to know what you're willing to sacrifice in order to get what you want. People are asking themselves the wrong questions.